Here we are in Brian Head, Utah. If you're looking to buy a home or a condo here in Brian Head, Utah, there's a few things that you should definitely know before looking at properties. The different types of homes and condos that you see up here, what they're building, what they cost, different winter access such as ski in and ski out access, rules and regulations for nightly rentals, and some expenses that maybe buyers don't think about when they're up here. I was a host up here for about 5 years for short-term rentals and have several listings up here as well. I love Brian Head, and I'm going to show you what it's like. It started raining, so we're back inside the office, but my name is Dallin Hales. I'm your local Southern Utah realtor. I do this full time. I love it, and I'm grateful to do it. I'm also grateful to meet a lot of awesome people from YouTube. If you or someone you know is looking into Brian Head or looking to get a property in the woods or the mountains, there's a link at the top of the description where you can start searching for homes right away in Brian Head. There's also a link to book a call with me if you just want to ask me a few questions about the area. I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. The first thing to know about Brian Head is that it is not a typical small town. It is a resort town. The most recent census estimated only 162 residents in Brian Head. So you would think it's a very small town. You would never guess there's only 162 residents up here on a good powder weekend or a holiday or during activities and festivals during the summer or winter. I recently spoke to a couple of families that live up in Brian Head, and their year-round experience is very different than just a weekend getaway. Brian Head also has some restaurants and some stores. Here behind me is what's called the mall. It's where you have some restaurants like Pisano's, Rosales. You've got restrooms, you've got ice skating, and something called the general store, which is a big one. Everything that you might forget is probably at the general store. You also have a place to do rentals. During the summer, you do mountain biking. In the winter, you have obviously skiing and snowboarding. And in addition to the mall, there's some small markets and restaurants and grocery stores down in Parowan. If you want to go to Walmart, Home Depot, any of these more mainstream stores, you should plan on traveling 30 to 40 minutes to Cedar City, just on the freeway. If you're looking to get a property in Brian Head, it's very different whether you're looking at getting a condo or a townhome or a cabin. Generally, there are 3 to 4 times more condos and townhomes on the market compared to standalone cabins. And they are building a ton of condos still. And the price to go with these is very different. The median price sold for condos in the past 12 months was $250,000, while the median price sold for cabins was $665,000. And largely that's because the median square footage of a cabin was 2,600 square feet, while the condo square footage median was just over 700. Properties that sold quick sold for about 95% of the original asking price. Properties that sat on the market for a little while longer sold closer to 95% of the current asking price. I've listed a condo that's right across from Giant Steps that's about 900 square feet, while listing a couple cabins, including this one cabin that just got listed that's over 4,000 square feet and has an incredible view of Brian Head. Now, getting a condo or a cabin can depend on your priorities. While a condo may be easier to lock and leave, but whether it's a condo or a cabin, what's important is checking the HOA. Who is in charge of snow removal for the sidewalk or the driveway or the streets? Is it UDOT? Is it the HOA? Is it the city of Brian Head? Or is it you? A condo may be a better choice if you just want a weekend getaway to go mountain biking during the summer or hit the slopes during the winter, while a standalone cabin will give you more privacy, more storage, garage space, your own utility systems, mature trees, and so forth. And condos are typically more expensive per square foot, but just depends on what your priorities are. One of those priorities is if you want a ski in, ski out property. Now, there are some condos that have this ski in, ski out, but you can't necessarily ski right to your front door. You usually have an elevator or some stairs to carry your gear up. While there are some ski in, ski out cabins, particularly talking about the trails at Navajo. This is a really cool community where several cabins are still being built, and there's just something special about going down the slopes and skiing right to your cabin. Take a break, and then when you want to ski some more, you can just ski right down to the lift and go up again. Now, these come at a little bit more premium price, but ski in, ski out cabins can also charge a little bit more as a nightly rental, which we'll get to in a minute. What's important about these ski in, ski out properties, whether it's a condo or a cabin, is checking who maintains the trails. Does anyone maintain the trails? Because they may be very deep in powder, or are there groomed trails that you can just go outside, hop on, and go straight down to the lift? If you're looking for a weekend getaway, you don't really want to spend some of your precious time on a weekend shoveling snow. For example, the trails at Navajo do have groomed and maintained trails to make it easy, so you don't have to worry about doing that. Now, more about short-term rentals. One of the biggest misconceptions is that every single property in Brian Head can be a nightly rental. While the majority of homes up here are nightly rentals, and it's what brings a lot of investors to Brian Head, for rentals shorter than 30 days, such as Airbnbs or Verbos, a business license is required, along with proof of insurance and a fire inspection. And in order for the town to issue you a license, your property has to be on the town water system. So if you have a property out in the boonies, the town may not issue you a license. And of course, the second layer to check is your HOA and your CC&Rs, because that can also change if you can rent out your property. In general, Brian Head is a very friendly short-term rental area. I have personally worked with the city, obtaining licenses, scheduling fire inspections, and so forth, and they're always very kind and helpful. After 5 years of hosting in Brian Head, I'm not a financial advisor, but my biggest advice is not to just look at gross revenue. There are a lot of expenses that come with short-term rentals, and you have to be okay with going a month or two without covering your mortgage. Although it can do very well in the winter and parts of the summer, April, May, and September are a little bit slower. You also have to keep in mind, if you want to go up there, you have to block off your schedule before a tenant books it before you. If you are looking to get a short-term rental in Brian Head, a big part of the due diligence is if it has been previously rented, that we ask for the financials. And we can do that to kind of get a glimpse of how much income the property was making beforehand. If it wasn't making very much, that may be a red flag for you, unless you're looking to buy this as a second home that you can go visit a few weeks out of the year. If you have a ski in, ski out property, you can usually charge more of a premium because it has a higher demand. When people think of Brian Head, they often think of skiing and snowboarding and would love to be able to ski directly to the lift. If you don't have a ski in, ski out property, Brian Head does offer a free shuttle to most places in the city. If you're looking to possibly live in Brian Head for several months out of the year or full time, it's important to know that a lot of the schools and shopping will take place in Parowan, which is 15 minutes down the canyon, or in Cedar City, which is about 30 to 40 minutes off the freeway. Schools are in Iron County School District, largely in the Parowan area, while your mainstream shopping will be found in Cedar City. One question that I hear is, what is the future of Brian Head? Is it growing? Is the resort going to shut down? What is the status of it? Well, there's a few developments going on. One in particular that is, I think, a good signal to the future of Brian Head. Brian Head has requested from the federal government additional land to add to the resort, and a development called Aspen Meadows has just under 2,000 acres of land, up to 1,500 residences at full build-out. This will take place over the next several years and several decades, but it is very much in the works. Brian Head is also expanding the resort, and if you've ever driven around Brian Head, you could see that they are constantly building condos, townhomes, tiny homes, and keeping everything very well maintained. And in my opinion, more and more people are finding out about Brian Head, so I think the demand will stay. But that development is something to consider. Would you be okay if there was a little bit more traffic in Brian Head? If you have an empty lot next to you, would you be okay if a cabin or property was built there? Just something to take into consideration. Before writing an offer, here's a few questions to ask yourself. Who handles the sidewalks? Who handles the streets? And do I need to be in charge of snow removal? If you want to do a short-term rental, what does the HOA look like? Can I get a license, and what do the financials look like? There's a great website called airdna.co that gives some pretty good estimates of what your revenue potential could be. What does full ownership cost after utilities, insurance, snow, maintenance, management, and vacancy? Does the property make sense for you, depending on if there was future growth or no growth? Those questions will help you understand Brian Head and the property you're looking into, instead of just buying an awesome property in the woods. Brian Head is an awesome place to go, whether you want to go ski, whether you want a property there. It's a dream of many to own a property in the woods, and Brian Head checks that box. Is it right for you? Is the main question that I'm happy to help you with. If you're trying to decide between a condo, townhome, or a cabin, go ahead and click on this video for an example of what one of the cabins look like in Brian Head. If you want to learn about another place in southern Utah, go ahead and click on this video, and I'll see you in the next video.